Last week, Kevin Hart released his 7th-hour-long stand-up special, No F's Given. The special was shot in Kevin's own home and has gotten mixed reviews. One notable critic was none other than Katt Williams. Kevin and Katt have gone back and forth for years, and this potential response marks another event in the long documented history. Katt wasn't the only one who's disappointed in the special, as Kevin took to social media to further address those who had negative things to say. Today on the show, we've got our Comedy Hype analyst Rita Brent calling in, and Capone and Pierre with us to talk about Kevin's new special, the reactions to it, and Katt's response.
In a place now, just guys, where I'm growing up. This is just where I am. This is where my mental is. I'm not the same Kev of old. I'm not going to go back to that version of myself because I'm a fucking grown man now. I live a different life. Unfortunately, that's the case. I'm mad at a rapper for not talking about drugs or selling drugs no more. And the rapper was like, but I don't sell drugs no more. I'm grown. I've evolved. So I can't talk about that. People couldn't know it. They were like, f*** out of here, man. You sold out. You ain't the same. You shouldn't be the same. You're supposed to grow up. In life, you're supposed to evolve. How do you feel about the mixed reviews on the special? I said, I don't give a I actually have zero to give. He said, but Kevin, but wait, like, you know, people said that they want the old Kevin back. I don't give a what people said. I have zero to give. If you want the old Kevin, well, go look at what the old Kevin did. Because this Kevin doesn't give a I have zero to give. I don't care.
I tell you that I'm shooting in my living room. It's the real fucking living room. Not a stage set. Oh man, why do we expect liars to tell the truth and expect people?
So we're seeing different responses. We've got Katt Williams, Tariq, like there are multiple people that are responding and chiming in, mixed reviews. Pierre, after watching that and just everything that's going, what are your thoughts?
The one who gave zero was Katt Williams. That shit, I love it. I mean, he just him shooting in that bad scene. I don't know if that was Katt Williams. Was it Katt? Shit, it was so dark in there, so you could definitely hear he gave zero. Let's talk about Kevin's response. First of all, I am a fan of Kevin Hart. I'm a friend of Kevin Hart's. I listened to a lot of stuff he said, a lot of stuff he came up with saying, you know, he don't really care and he gives zero f***s. First of all, we should never be in a position where we don't give a f***. As an artist, you should always care. You should care about something. When you give zero f***s, then I don't believe you really give your all. You're willing to mail in your performance or mail in whatever you're doing, and we should never do that. The fans do not deserve that, to be not giving a f***. I give a f***. Now I may not change every time you say something, but I do care. I care enough to make sure my performance is number one, and I'll come out to do my best performance. And Kevin to sit there and the fact that he even mentioned it and talked about it shows that he cares. It bothered him. Right. Because if it didn't bother him, he wouldn't say nothing. He didn't say nothing about grown little man and seriously funny, because those had a lot of positive response. All right, my account is set up a certain way, you're gonna learn today. When all that love was coming, don't get me wrong, there was some negativity too, but it was such small negativity.
Right.
Most of it was glowing, because he was new on the set, and he didn't address none of the negativity. Yeah. Now he's starting to see negativity rising substantially compared to what he was. And it's hard to do 7 specials and be on top.
Right.
I think if you're gonna do those kind of specials, you better really give a as you go down, because you can start being redundant and over, same thing. And very few comics can do that. And I'll give Kevin an up and down show here and there, a performance. Putting out 7 is not easy. That's a good brother. That brother works hard. What I'll give him credit for is hustling for his talent. He doesn't have he's not the greatest comedian, the greatest actor, but he got the talent to hustle like no other. So I give him a lot of credit for that part of his career. His hustle game is real, from him, and I respect that. But his last couple specials have not been up to par to me. And for him to say, you're my fan, if you agree with me, does he want robots? Kevin Hart, everything you do is fantastic. We love everything you do. No, a real fan could come up to me and say, bro, I like your work, but that last thing you did wasn't really what my thing was. And I respect that. Right. I can't say, if you say something negative, you ain't my fan. Because that's how you came off by saying, if you're my fan's gonna roll with me. No, your fans can say, that shit was garbage. If they felt like it. Now, you might not think it's garbage, some of your other fans, but you see the majority of people are starting to say that. Now, sure, if you're not a fan of mine, you don't care about none of my work, then I don't care what you say. You know what I'm saying? If you don't really, honestly, I don't care, but it doesn't bother me as much. If you don't like me anyway, then why even deal with me? If I don't like sushi, I won't go to a sushi restaurant and start complaining about things on the plate. If I don't like it, I don't like it at all. So if you like me, his fans do like him, they have a right to say, Kevin, that shit was trash, or Kevin, I didn't like that. They have a right to their opinion. Just like you have a right to opinion to express himself, they have a right to express their self. So I think it got to Kevin, and Kevin knows what time it is, and he's hearing it, he's hearing the grumbling, and it's bothering him.
Yeah.
So there is no hiding, Kevin. To me, that last special, I think you mailed it in. There was nothing new. There was no quotables in that thing. There was nothing new he did. And, you know, I think you can get to the point where you're just grabbing for the bag now.
Right.
You're grabbing the bag. You're grabbing the bag. And I want Kevin to get back on that grind, in that grizzy grind where he doesn't, where he cares again. He gives a fuck. So next special, nigga, give a fuck, in my opinion. I love you, brother, but give a fuck. Because we care enough to want to see you give a fuck.
I like that. Rita, what about you?
You ain't got nothing to say.
That's why I wanted to go first.
The quotable is the bop, bop, bop. That's what everybody's talking about, Pierre. The bop, bop. I slick want some brick up and pizza. I mean, but you touched on a lot. The big thing that stands out to me is when Kevin was on the Breakfast Club, he said that he only took 3 months to prepare for this special. So I think if he had more time, you know, he would have been able to perfect some of the jokes. I thought overall it was a good special. Of course, some bits were stronger than others, but to me, that's just the essence of a special. You have some that are going to stand out and some are going to be forgettable. But regarding Tariq Nasheed, my big thing with Kevin is that he's staying on brand. I've seen people saying he's too politically correct. That's his brand. He's been animated. He's been storytelling. He's been talking about his family. I think that would be out of character for him to deviate and all of a sudden try to be woke in his material. Like, that's what Chappelle does. Chappelle is well read. He's well versed on a lot of topics. He's like a damn professor on stage. That's not Kevin's style. So Tariq is staying true to his brand when he's talking to his audience about woke stuff. Shit, Trump stays true to his brand. What if Trump had listened to people when they said, don't be racist? Well, he would have alienated all of these MAGA people. You know, he's going to be able to finance his life. He's going to be able to finance the rest of his life off MAGA merchandise because Trump stayed true to his brand. So I think that's all Kevin is doing. I don't think the special was bad. And if somebody said it was absolutely not funny, they didn't laugh at all, to me, that's a little bit unbelievable. I think there was a narrative that started on Twitter and people just started to roll with it. So if Tariq had got on Twitter and said this was a good special, a lot of people would have followed that. It's a lot of group thinking going. So people are going into it with a negative narrative anyway. But I thought the special was solid. Was it his best? Was it my favorite? No, but it wasn't unfunny. I think that's a little unfair.
I want to read Tariq Nasheed's tweet. So he says, I like Kevin Hart, real cool guy, but his new Netflix stand-up special, 0 F's Given, was not funny. I had to just cut it off after 10 minutes. Kevin Hart then responded to that to it and said, please remind me why your feedback should matter again. I think I've done pretty well for myself by doing this comedy that's not funny. Good luck to you in whatever it is that you do, though. Power to the people.
But that doesn't mean he doesn't like him. That doesn't mean that Tariq doesn't like his other stuff. Don't get in your feelings so much that if somebody says one thing wrong about one of your specials, oh my God, you don't like me no more. It's crazy.
Right. Capone, what
that's
are your
what
thoughts?
he said, Pierre. That's what he said. I mean, Tariq said he didn't dislike Kevin. He supported all that he was doing. But he started talking about Kevin was like basically a pawn for white people, that white people were his audience and he needed to do something to get black people back on his side. That's what Tariq said.
No, if the white people's paying the bills, then stick with the white people. I've never seen one of Kevin Hart's specials.
Damn.
And I consider him a friend. He probably never seen one of mine. But from what the clips that I saw he's in his feelings. There's no way, and one thing that you're taught, and I think Charlie Murphy taught me this, you can't control what everybody says. People are gonna have their opinion, and when you start to feed into it, you're giving them power. And I think that that's what he's doing by making, he didn't just make one video, he made 2. And from the Kevin Hart that I know, very, very confident. I wouldn't say cocky, I say confident. But this doesn't show the confidence that was once known. And to get up there, and Pierre, you touched it, and that's why I didn't want to touch it, is saying you don't give a fuck, give 0 fucks, is something that is definitely not true. You're in your feelings when you gotta say it that much. And did Katt Williams respond to it? I don't like that. I don't like the fact that they keep just putting us up against each other. Katt Williams got, as they say, quote unquote, his bag. Kevin got his bag. What are they trying to, what is the battle there? What is the dislike there? What is the constant coming at each other? And why do they always put it up? I don't ever see white comedians, or if they do come at each other, it's never a situation that they make so big like they make Kevin Hart and Katt Williams or Mike Epps.
Right.
It's always that. There's more comedians that feel a certain way, but they keep bringing that fuel into the fire. When is one of them going to be big enough and just say, you know what? Kevin is doing Kevin, I'm doing me, let's leave it alone.
Kevin's tried that a couple times, but that doesn't sell, brother. That doesn't sell. We're in a whole different age now. This ain't 1940s and 60s no more. We are now in a, let's start this beef. And if you're going to put fuel to it, it's on and popping.
But that's always what it's been in rap also.
But if Kevin says, I love Katt Williams' work, everything he does, and Katt Williams, I love everything Kevin Hart does, where does that go then?
We comedians, we ain't got to sell beef.
I know, but I'm just saying, but if there is beef, somebody wants to put up and talk about it. You know, I'm not saying it's right, but that's the age we live in now.
But then you get the little comments that's not even straightforward comments.
Sure.
Right.
You know, decide. If you're going to be a man and you got feelings about what you're going to say it. I don't like Katt Williams, I don't like Kevin Hart. Say it to each other instead of the little cloak. Katt Williams was in the dark.
Right.
He didn't even show himself. I'm in my real living room. So what? Your lights probably wasn't even on.
Oh, so you got beef now with
No, I don't.
So let me ask this: as a comedian, especially, we've seen Kevin, like you say, this is his 7th special.
Right.
He's been on top, and
Right.
now here he is. He's in a position where he's getting those mixed reviews. Seems more negative than positive. As comedians, what if you were him? Like, what would be your next move?
But first of all, it's okay to have a special that maybe everyone doesn't love, more or less people love. Eddie Murphy got movies that people don't love. And I love Eddie Murphy. His breadth of brethren, whatever that word is, his body of work. We'll say body.
You're still great.
Right. The body of work, you know, it's still beautiful, even though he has 1,000 words in there, and Dave up in that movie. You know what I'm saying? We all gonna have some little L's we're gonna catch, or won't be as good as the other. It's okay. So for Kevin to talk about like how bad it was, I think it was a bad move because it's like he's in his feelings. Kevin, you've given us a lot of funny stuff, a lot of beautiful work. Every once in a while, you're gonna catch a dud. It is what it is. Well, to more people, sure. Your fans don't care. Your fans are, we love you, Kevin Hart. Anything you do is fantastic. We get that. But other people who are your fans might say, that one wasn't good, Kevin. And it's okay.
Right.
Kevin pockets ain't gonna change. So
what would be your next move? If you were in this situation, you know, you've been on top for so long, and then you hit this point where it's like all these negative reviews. Let's say you do speak out. What is Pierre's next move? What great Pierre? What is great Pierre's next move?
Dave Chappelle said it. Dave Chappelle said it. To be honest, I don't know if I would have. You know what? First of all, either I'm going to be that kind of person who goes back with the audience all the time and just talks ratchet. We go back and forth and have fun, or I don't. If I haven't done it for so long, I'm gonna continue the trend. Now, let's just say for some miraculous reason, I decide to talk out on something like that. I just wouldn't talk about it no more. I would just. He got movies and stuff coming out, so I'm not going to talk about it no more. That'd be the last time because it's not going to do anything but show your feelings. Right. The more he brings it up, it's going to show you in your feelings, and you need to be beyond that, Kevin. You're way beyond. I know you're human, and it's a beautiful thing that you care, but let's act like you don't. You can't say you don't care and care. Right. When is it going to be? You don't give a fuck, but you give a fuck. What the fuck?
What about you, Rita? What would be Rita's next move?
I mean, I agree with Pierre said, about this idea that everything you put out is not going to be golden, it's not going to be perfect. But the great Dave Chappelle said the beauty is in the attempt. You know what I'm saying? So at least he's putting stuff out here. And my next move would be to keep doing what the hell I'm doing. Mm-hmm. He got What the Fit, cold as balls. He making movies. He has all of these gigantic partnerships and endorsements, and he is putting back into the Black community. I met Kevin Hart 2017 on Comedy Central, and he gave me my first TV credit, and I still get a check from that show today. So he makes statements in other ways. If he's not talking about politics and race in his stand-up, at least he's doing it through his actions. So I think he should keep doing what he is already doing. You know what I'm saying? And like he said, I mean, I get it. He looks deflated. On the Breakfast Club, he said, I'm thinking about retiring. You know, if people keep making it not fun to be an entertainer, that's just the culture that we live in right now. People are going to talk noise on social media. But once again, I say consider the source. The people talking shit, what are they doing? What do they have to show in their own lives? And if that's nothing, then you have to silence the noise and keep it moving.
What about you, Capone?
What was the question again?
What would be Capone's next move if you've built up this career? What would be Capone's next move if you're in Kevin's shoes?
I think Kevin needs to go back to the essence of hiring writers who've been around him for long that knows him. I think when you're in a certain place and you get high expectations of what he's dealing with now, he's been with the same guys for quite a while, and I was one of the guys back in the days with him, and I just think that that's where it all stemmed from. You get that core of guys who know who you are, and just try something different. I mean, always try something different. Pierre says something about his brand being the same thing over and over again. I don't think that's a smart thing to do. Like, you're gonna talk about your kids again. You're gonna say this again, and they're grown now. They're gonna start talking about you. I mean, anything is possible. But I just think that there should be some new writers in there, and go and venture out to different cultures and stuff like that, and learn more. Like the point that Katt made was, there's tragedy going on. There's all of these different things going on. Not that you have to be political correct, but there is other things to talk about.
Right. Well, you heard from us. Now we want to hear from you down in the comments below. What should be Kevin's next move? For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson.
We're sponsored by Comedy Hype, comedyhype.com/shop. Support this, y'all. Y'all support Uno, you support all the other things. So make sure you support this, all right? Black owned.